Is this thing on? Yep, it's on. Hey guys and girls, it's your girl Judy O, aka Green Fire Motivation, and I am excited because it is Wordivation Wednesday. Wordivation Wednesday. Wordivation Wednesday. It is Wordivation Wednesday, and so on this Wordivation Wednesday, to start off, I want to say happy birthday to my very best friend in the world. And Christine Sapphire Bell, happy birthday. Okay, so so the Wordivation Wednesday word for today is rule, or rules, if you want to put an S on it. Rule or rules. And the definition of the word rule is one of a set of explicit or understood regulations or principles governing conduct within a particular activity or sphere. Okay, so in English, it basically means a guideline set in place to assist you with your conduct, how you act, right? Okay, so Green Fire Motivation wants to tell you, we all need rules. We all need rules. And when I say rules, I'm not talking about the rules that you follow when you go to work. I'm not talking about the rules that you follow when you're driving your car. I'm not talking about the rules that you follow that tell you to stand in a line when you get to the movie theater. No, I'm talking about rules that help us to take care of ourselves and keep ourselves. Okay, so the best scenario I can think of is when you're younger and you're living with your parents, they have rules. You know, you have to get up at a certain time. You have to go to bed at a certain time. You have to do certain chores. These are the rules. And you have to what? Follow the rules. Now, one of the rules in our classroom is the very first rule is listen to the teacher and follow directions, right? Okay, so the teacher gives the rules and the children follow the rules. And in some cases, the children help make the rules. But nonetheless, a rule helps you to conduct yourself according to the situation appropriately, okay? A rule helps you to conduct yourself to the situation appropriately, okay? For example, a rule. When you line up, what are you supposed to do? You go to the movie theater, what are you supposed to do? If there's a line, right? Are you supposed to go straight to the front of the line? No. You're supposed to go to the end of the line and what? Wait your turn, right? Now, while I'm a pre-K teacher and, you know, these are simple things that we teach to the children to help them to learn to govern themselves accordingly to follow the rules, this is something that we exercise as adults every day. You know, when you go into a place of business, whether it's a restaurant, a clothing store, what have you, if you would like to purchase something, you have to wait in line. And most of us were taught that if there's a line, you're supposed to go to the end of the line. You're not supposed to skip the line and jump in between or in front of somebody. You're definitely not supposed to go to the front of the line. And so what we need to do is we need to think about our lives and intentionally set rules for our lives. For example, so your parents used to tell you what to do, right? And what happens when you get out of the house? Oh my gosh, freedom. I can do what I want, when I want, how often I want. I don't have to do what I don't want to do. These are the things that cause our self-discipline to spiral out of control, okay? Because all the rules that we had to abide by when we're in our parents' house, we throw them out the window because now we're grown and we want to do what we want to do, right? Okay, but if you think about it, the things that your parents were training you to do, now there's always an exception to every rule. At this point, I'm not talking about the exception. I'm talking about the generality, okay? Most parents taught you get up at a certain time because you know you got to go to school. When you get older, you have to go to work. So they're training you to get up at a certain time so that you can be what? On time for work, on time for school. So kids go to school, that's their work. Adults go to work, that's their money-making scenarios, right? So everything that the children learn when they're young transitions to when they get older. So if your parents were constantly telling you, you know, you have to be on time, you have to be on time, you have to be on time, when you leave their house, 9 times out of 10, you're like, man, shoot, I can be as late as I want to be. Or maybe not as late as I want to be, but, you know, you don't put as much of an emphasis on being on time because now you're grown and you can do what you want to do. So what happens? You end up being late all the time. that's what happens. Why? Because now you're big and bad enough to do what you're big and bad enough to do. So, you know, the fact that it was a rule before and now you get to make your own rules now, that rule becomes non-existent. And that's when things spiral out of control. You're late for everything. You're late for work. You're late for church. You're late for school. You're late for appointments. You're late for, and stuff ends up getting canceled because you're late. And then when someone mentions that you're late, you get upset because they brought attention to the fact that you were late. Right. So that's just one of the things that spiral out of control. You know what else spirals out of control? Our eating habits. You know, a lot of times when we're eating, when our parents are feeding us, you know, they're giving us the appropriate portions. Now, like I said, there's always an exception to the rule, but most times they're giving you the appropriate portion of food that you're supposed to eat so that you don't eat too much, but you eat, you know, you don't eat too much, but you don't eat too little. You eat just the right amount. Right? So what happens is once we get out of our parents' house, we forget about our vegetables. Now, don't act like y'all, look, do not act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. We forget about our vegetables, and instead of eating our food first, we go straight for the ice cream or cake. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to tell you, the dessert became the first thing that I would eat when I moved out of my parents' house. Why? Because I was like, man, I don't have to follow that rule anymore. And what happened? My eating habits spiraled out of control. Now, instead of me eating, and I say now because this has happened in the past. I'm doing better now with eating my vegetables. But when I first moved out of my parents' house, you know, all I wanted was everything that was junk food. That's what I wanted. And my eating habits spiraled out of control. Case in point, why I've gained all this weight. We're not going to talk about that in this video. But those are just two examples of how things can spiral out of control. Another example. My mom was and still is a very organized, very clean person. You know, she cleans the house every week and cooks just about every day and does all that stuff. Everything was organized. Like when I was younger and we would come home, dinner was being cooked. We knew we had to go do our homework. And then after homework, we had to go, you know, clean ourselves up and everything like that. And then we would have dinner, we would watch a little TV, and then, you know, we would go to bed. That was how it was when we were in school, right? But now that I have my own place and adult responsibilities, a lot of that organization has spiraled out of control. It has spiraled out of control to where it's like, oh, there's dishes in the sink? Psh, I'll get them another week, month, year. Okay, act like you didn't hear that. You know, oh, you know, it's time to clean the house. I gotta go somewhere else. I gotta do something else. I gotta get out of the house. I've been inside all day long, all week long. At work, I want to be outside. So the cleaning scenario, I don't have the worst place. Like, it's not the worst home in the world. It works for me. I'm not gonna say it's as clean as it probably should be according to my mom's standards, but it's clean enough, right? So it's like the things spiral out of control when we don't have rules. And I use those three scenarios, but you can pretty much put any scenario in there, you know, pertaining to your personal situation about rules and not following rules that you used to have that you don't follow anymore and things spiraling out of control. So what I want to tell you today on Wordivation Wednesday, we all need to have some rules, okay? And I'm going to say this. We need to set rules for ourselves the same way that our parents set rules for us so that we can maintain our self-discipline. Let me say that one more time. We need to set rules for ourselves. That's the things that we put in place to govern how we conduct ourselves, how we conduct our lives, how we conduct everything that's a part of our lives, okay? So we need to set rules for ourselves the same way our parents did to help us to maintain our self-discipline. So guys and girls, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the share button, go ahead and subscribe. And by all means, hit the Wordivation Wednesday playlist because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other words up there that you can use. The purpose of Wordivation Wednesday is to give you a word to use throughout the week that will empower you to take action and take control of your life. The word this week is rule or rules. So use it however you see fit. All right, this is Wordivation Wednesday on the Green Fire Motivation channel where we win with words. I will see you guys tomorrow on Thought Bank Thursday.